welcome to another CRaFTi video. So today's one is also using some more products sent to me by the fabulous HTVRONT, and this video in particular is going to be looking at their button maker machine, or in the UK we would call them badges rather than buttons, but it is this fantastic, very heavy duty actually contraption that allows you to create your own pin badges, and they are a really decent size. They're 58mm in diameter or 2.28 inches in diameter, so really decent sized badges. Like this one was a little bit of a fail, but this size of a badge, so very, very decent size for putting a nice piece of artwork, a nice little quote, a sentiment, a nice big number for someone's birthday. So many different things that you can use these for. Plus you can also not bother with the pin in the back and actually put a magnet on there and turn them into magnets as well, which I'll show you later on in the video too. But I've kind of been I was meant to film this video for last weekend, and I kept having more ideas that I wanted to try and like show you different ways of using it, so that's why it's ended up being a week later. But this button maker machine comes with the actual button maker, which is this fabulous green colour. I really like this colour, and you can see it's a really heavy duty contraption. It's all like metal springs, metal gearing, solid pieces of metal in here. I mean, the main housings where you put things are obviously plastic, but everything within it that is the part of the mechanism for creating the badges is all metal in here, and it even has a nice lot of grease in there to keep it lubricated as well for making tons of badges for us. And you have like these gasket pieces as well for helping you get your badges out too, and I will show you how the machine works as well. Plus also you'll notice there's lots of places on here that like have bolts that have like an Allen key end to them, and they even give you the Allen keys in the box. They give you the Allen keys, and this one's even got the screwdriver piece on the end of it as well. So if for whatever reason you have to tighten anything over the years, you've got the tools in the box to be able to do that, which I think is fantastic. It doesn't mean you haven't got to go rifling off looking for the right size Allen key and stuff as well. So you've got everything that you need for servicing your machine later down the line too. Plus, you also get a circle cutter in here, and it's actually an adjustable one, so you could technically use this for making larger circles for cards and things as well. I haven't actually used the circle cutter because I'm presuming the majority of you are also obsessed with die cutting, and so probably have quite a large number of circle dies in your stash, and you can use your dies to die cut the pieces to go in the badge maker, so you don't have to use this adjustable circle cutter, but it comes with it. So those of you who aren't die cutters, you can still make badges with this as well. I have a feeling this is you know, not to be used by children. You need adult supervision, because it looks as though there is a piece of foam here that's got the blade in it, and I'm pretty certain you unscrew this to loosen it, push it right up to the edge of this plastic here, screw it back down to tighten it, and then you place this plastic circle over the top of your image and then run this around in a circle to cut the perimeter of it to give you your circle piece. But if you don't want to use that because you love your die cutting, you will need a circle die that is either 2 3/4 inches in diameter or 7 centimeters. And the one that I have been using that I found most successful is this one here, which is from the very old Tonic set called 481E, which is their basic circle layering set from years ago, and it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 largest one. So if you count 6 out from the center of your set, that's the perfect size one that I have been using for all of my badges. I was experimenting, and it is better to go slightly smaller on the die than it is to go slightly bigger. So for example, this die is actually a tiny bit smaller than the pieces of paper that they give you for making your badges with, because they do actually give you blank paper, so you could technically just use the blank circles that they give you as well to create your badges with too if you wanted to draw things onto them. But you know what we're like being crafters, we want to use pattern papers and different dies that we've got and all sorts of different things, stamps and everything. So if you want to be die cutting your own circles, something that is 2 3/4 inches or 7 centimeters in diameter, and it can be a little bit smaller, but do not go bigger than that, because you don't get very good results if you go bigger. It can't like tuck the paper around the edges of the badge enough. And like, for example, I was using a die that gave me a circle that is literally like 2mm bigger than this one, but it wasn't working as well, so I then cut them with the smaller one. So, you know, tiny bit smaller is better, because this 2mm one is then like 1mm bigger than this little badge. So it's definitely better just to go a tiny bit smaller. You know, if you haven't got the perfect size die, pick one that's, you know, like a few millimetres or a fraction of an inch smaller than these sizes here, and that should be the perfect size for you. Or if you can't find a die that's the perfect size, you have the circle cutter as well. I just know, you know, from me being a die cutter, I would rather die cut it, because obviously we're just used to always die cutting things. So that is the size of the circle that you need. Then also within the box here, you're also getting 110 badge pieces. So you can, from the get-go, just getting the button maker or button machine, you can make 110 badges, and you get all of the pieces to be able to do that. You get the metal backs with the metal pin badge. This is the kind of pin badge that it has on it, so you just sort of once this is in position, it's much easier to do because it's firmly in place, but you just push that down and pull it underneath that little bent bit, and that's how you open and close it. So you've got 110 backs for your badges, 110 top pieces for your badges. You also get 110, well, there could be more. I haven't actually used many of these because I've been die cutting my own bits and pieces, but 110 plain white circles. That is, I presume, the perfect weight that they recommend, but I have been getting it to work with my 300 GSM white cardstock. It's a little bit harder to press, and you probably have more finicky kind of problems than you would have if you used a thinner paper, but if you really want to do like some Copic coloured kind of images, you can get away with using a thicker paper that works really well with like your alcohol pens as well. But you get 110 of those plus 110 of the clear acetate circle pieces. So this is like the protective layer that goes over the top of your badge, but you don't have to use this. Later on I'll show you some cases where you might not want to use the protective film over the top of it, and you don't have to use it if you don't want to. The badge is not going to work if you don't put the protective film on it. You know, you can just have it as a matte finish as well. You don't have to have the shiny, but you get them all in there for being able to create your badges. So you get 110 of all of those pieces to be able to create all of these different badges. But if you run out, or if you just want some more, you can also buy the like expansion pack, which gives you 100 more button making supplies. But the difference is, this does say on here, I've read somewhere on it, I think, oh, on the back. This does say on here that it has 100 pin backs, but they're actually plastic pin backs in these rather than metal, and they're a bit different. If you look at they're a lot thicker, the plastic pin badges, and I've not had as much luck with them. I've tried to make some badges with them. I've got a couple that I have managed to make, but I've not had as much luck with the plastic pin badges as I have with the metal ones that the machine comes with. Like, not all of the film on here tends to come around the back. I did this test one because Tuesday's sped up video that you'll see in a few days' time, I was colouring images on 300 GSM cardstock and then trying to use the plastic pin badges to turn them into badges, and I was like, why does it keep getting stuck in the machine and the plastic doesn't quite wrap round and stuff? And I was thinking, maybe it is the cardstock that I'm using then, maybe I should go back down to the thinner paper. And so I just pressed a badge with just the white paper that they give you, but it still wasn't quite working. So I'm not sure if there's something that I'm doing wrong with the plastic ones. I'm going to have to play around with it in the future, so you might see another video at some point in the future of me playing around with the plastic pin badges. But for now I've had the best success with the metal ones. But I mean, for you watching, if you just buy the button maker, it comes with the metal ones, so it's no problem really. It's just if you're thinking about getting extra pin badges. But I can guarantee you 110 is going to last you quite a long time, although I have made quite a few badges already. But the amount of supplies that I've got left, you know, it hardly looks like I've touched them really. So that is the extra pack that you can buy as well if you do want the plastic pin back badges, you know, for whatever reason you want them to be plastic rather than metal. You could definitely get this as well for creating more. You also get inside the box the instructions of exactly how you create your badges. You've got all of the picture instructions with also the wording on here as well, telling you to put what pieces in which area, when to turn it, you know, pressing it, what it looks like when you press it down to know that it is closed and that you have pressed it enough to get the badge to actually work. And in some cases you might want to like almost like pounce the lever a little bit. I will show you what I mean when we're actually making the badge, but I feel like in some cases, especially when you're pressing the first bit of it, if you kind of push it down and you're almost like pouncing it, like squeezing it shut and then letting it go a little bit, I find that has been helping to get a really nice like seal of the plastic and the paper around the metal front of the badge as well. So I will show you that when we get to that portion too, but I just wanted to tell you all of that up front. And you've also got like it tells you exactly what's inside the box and everything on here, and you've also got like pictures of the different elements of it as well, telling you the numbers of different things so you know what is called what and everything. So yeah, I have really enjoyed playing with this badge maker, and I've been experimenting as well. So I've got quite a few different bits and pieces to show you of different, so this video is kind of like Halloween themed with creating autumnal Halloween sort of pin badges, but I've got a few ideas of other things that you can do with it as well that I will be showing you too. So I'll move all of this out of the way, and then I'll bring all of my different bits and pieces in to show you, and then we'll get on with making some badges later as well. Okay, so as usual, I like to experiment with things and see how you can add different things to, you know, what you're working on, and see if it actually works, you know, obviously, so you don't have to try it. And so the first things I wanted to try was using patterned papers, and I've gone for the gorgeous Shabby Meadow ones from Tonic, the little 8x8 pads, the Shabby one with like the, I mean, these two haven't particularly got much of the Shabby stuff on them, but you know, that kind of paper pad is what I've used. And then I wanted to experiment with, can you put die cuts onto the badge and still get it to form around the actual front piece of the badge and get the back to go on nicely? Can you put little Dymo labels on there as well? Then I was also wondering, can you put washi tape onto one of the existing circles and still press that into a badge? And then I also wanted to try, can you use my 300 GSM white cardstock with a coloured image that you've done and get that to press into a badge as well? Now, the first two that I did were these two, and it wasn't actually what I was trying to do that was wrong. It was user error. I wasn't putting enough pressure on the first part where you need to like really squeeze it round to get all of this to go, so what the actual paper and the plastic to go around. And also on this one, I was using a slightly larger circle and it wouldn't go all of the way round, like there was too much to be able to push it around the button nicely. So that's why these two weren't successful, but what I was trying to experiment with was possible. So I was using the other sheet, or the other part of another sheet, so they're the opposite colours of each other, but it was successful to be able to stick a couple of die cuts onto a patterned paper and still turn it into a button. You can see obviously that protective sheet on the front is a little bit raised up around where the die cuts are because they're thicker, but it is possible to put die cuts onto a cut out patterned paper, and this is a relatively thick patterned paper, the Tonic ones, but it is possible and it does still go round nicely and make a really neat badge for you. It is also possible to use a Dymo labeler to add a little sentiment, but obviously a lot of you don't have Dymo labelers, so this could be a stamped sentiment, a little sticker of a sentiment, a handwritten sentiment. You could just stamp it onto there as well, adding any kind of sentiment to a patterned paper as well. But I just specifically wanted to try my Dymo labeler because I love my Dymo label sentiments, and again, it does give a raised kind of bit, but it's protected. It's not going to ping off or fall off over time. It's protected underneath that plastic coating so that it's going to last and the hello is going to stay there and stuck in place. It's not going to fall off, which is really lovely. So patterned papers are a massive tick, and you can add die cuts and you can add Dymo labels. And then I was also playing around with a gorgeous autumnal paper from Creative Expressions in the TaylorMade journals. I think it's called Autumn Song, the paper pad. So I just used a little portion of that with some gorgeous berries, and I put Hello Autumn. So you can definitely create some gorgeous autumnal or Halloweeny kind of badges with this too, which we're going to be moving on to later as well. So Dymo labels, patterned papers, definitely a tick, definitely very successful. Then I'm looking for another badge. Oh, here, this one. This was another version of trying with a die cut as well. This is the Distressed Plaid from TaylorMade Journals and Creative Expressions. I did a bit of stamping onto the patterned paper as well, and then these are a couple of Sue Wilson's die cuts from a couple of years ago actually, or it could have been last year maybe, and they're just die cut from black card, but they've got that beautiful debossing detail in them as well, and there's a little ghost and the gorgeous little witch as well, and I've also put a Dymo label on this one as well, so you can even pattern paper, die cut and a Dymo label, and it works combining all three of them. Again, the plastic is a little bit like not like wrinkled, but you can obviously tell that it's going over multiple layers of different thicknesses, you know. It's a little bit crinklier than it would be if it was just going flat over a patterned paper, but it holds everything in, you know. It keeps it all nice and weatherproof as well. You know, if your little kid was going to wear this trick-or-treating or something and it's raining, you know, it's not going to get ruined in the rain, which is lovely, so it's nice and protected. So definitely a tick to using patterned papers, little die cuts and Dymo label sentiments on there too. And then I was experimenting, as I said before, with washi tapes. So this is taking one of those circles that you get, using some different strips of washi tape across here, then a really fine glitter washi tape that my sibling gave me actually, and then also putting on some little confettis as well. These are the golden Acer ones from Nuvo. So even gorgeous little confettis work underneath the plastic. They are quite thin, so I thought they would work, but I just wanted to prove the fact that they would work. So even if you don't want to do any die cutting or have any other you know, tools and things, just some rolls of washi tape. This is a set of some gorgeous Monstera and leafy kind of designs. You can just literally put strips of that onto one of the circles. I cut off the excess with scissors, added the little glittery strips and a few little bits of confetti, and it makes a beautiful badge. I mean, this could have had a sentiment across it as well, or it can just be a gorgeous little badge to go on someone's backpack, or take the pin off and turn it into a magnet, like I'll show you some examples in a minute as well. So lovely way of using your washi tapes. And then also going with the 300 GSM white cardstock with a coloured image on. This is one of Francoise's images from her August collection. I can't remember what it's called actually. Oh, I've got it right here. It's called Winter Mittens, which should be obvious because it's a picture of winter mittens. But it was just an image that I had coloured, and I was also experimenting with this. If you put sparkly or metallic onto an image that you've coloured, or a patterned paper or something, underneath the plastic, does it still show? So the dots on here are a silver metallic. I don't know if it's, you can still see, I think, just that it is still a metallic finish. You can still see that. And then on the white top bits of the mittens, you can see that there's Sakura Stardust Sparkly gel pen on there as well. So even if you embellish your designs with a little bit of metallic or a little bit of sparkle, you can still see that through that protective layer over the top as well. So those were all of my like initial kind of experiments with this. Then I did, which is the one that I did first, it was a pickle one. So obviously our family have 3 Jack Russells. I have Pumpkin, my siblings got Willow, and my mum and dad have got Pickle, and this is Pickle, and we love them so much. But I have tons of photos that I've already printed out of them, and I thought, well, I wonder if you can turn a photo into a magnet. Can photo paper be bent around this and turn it into a pin badge? So I did this one of Pickle, and first of all, I accidentally put the pin badge thing on upside down, so then I couldn't use the pin because the pin was inside the badge and the back piece was across here. So then I was like, oh no, what have I done? And then the plastic was coming off of this one as well, so I actually pulled the plastic off, but I quite like the look of the photo without the plastic on, because photos have already got that glossy finish to them. I think they look better without the plastic on top of them. I've got another one here of Pickle curled up in a dog bed, and this one's got the plastic on and this one hasn't, and I think I prefer it without the plastic on. I've left it on a couple of them because oh, that one's picked up a pin, because I'm going to give them to Mum and my sibling, and I thought they're probably going to put them on the fridge in the kitchen, so it's probably better to have a protective layer over them. But yeah, so this was kind of, I did want to try making fridge magnets, but this was an accidental one because it was supposed to be a pin badge of Pickle. I love the way she's got her little ears like that. I nicknamed her Pickaxe because when she puts her ears like that, it looks like a pickaxe, and she's called Pickle and we often shorten it to Pick anyway, so she's like a little pickaxe with her ears. And that's Pumpkin's tail in the background there as well. But yeah, so I turned this one into a magnet, mostly because I did that wrong, put the back on the wrong way round, then obviously couldn't take it off because I'd properly squeezed it to get it to go in there, and you wouldn't be able to use it as a pin because the pin was on the inside of the metal here. So all I did was take one of those black magnets, a proper fridge magnet kind of magnet, and use some Cosmic Shimmer glue and glued it in the centre, and it makes the perfect little magnet, and it's a really gorgeous size as a magnet as well. And then of course after I made one, I had to make quite a few more of all of the different dogs as well. So we've got, that one's Pickle, and then this is also Pickle curled up. This is in Pumpkin's dog bed actually, but I thought she looked so sweet curled up, and the fact that that size of photo fit perfectly onto this badge, I thought I have to do a curled up Pickle. Then I've got this one of Pumpkin. So this was when she was a bit younger, because she has got more ginger in this middle spot now, so she looks a little bit different now. But it's a photo that my sibling took, and it had like a really blurry background and she was perfectly in focus in the foreground, so I turned that into a magnet. I've got another one of Pumpkin. You can tell Pumpkin's mine because I did the most magnets of her. Again, she's a little bit younger here because she hasn't got the ginger right in the middle there yet. But she was standing in the grass looking up, and there was gorgeous little daisies around her, so I thought that would make the perfect little pin badge as well. This is another one of Pumpkin in her favourite state, having a tennis ball in her gob. She loves those Kong squeaky ones, and it's quite hard to take a photo of Pumpkin without a tennis ball. Quite honestly, she's always got one with her. So that's her standing on the patio, and she fitted perfectly inside the badge. Then I've got a couple of Willow here. So Willow sticks her ears up. They're always up. Willow is Pumpkin's twin, but you can tell they do look different to each other. Pumpkin's much more feminine than Willow. Willow's a bit more masculine, and her ears are always up, whereas Pumpkin's are always bent over. But that is Willow. She's actually looking off to the side there because Pumpkin was actually in the photo over here holding her ball. So Willow's looking off to the side there, and that one hasn't got the plastic on top, but this one has, because I was going to give this to my sibling, and I thought they'll probably put it in the kitchen, and having the plastic coating on top is going to help prolong its life a little bit more. They're actually two different photos, but they almost look the same because they were taken a few seconds after each other. But I thought this one's nice because you can see Willow's body in there as well. Then I've got another one of Pumpkin. This was me holding her in my craft room. You can see my messy craft desk behind me. But I thought it's always funny when she has an ear up. It's usually just gravity making it go up. But she looks so adorable, so I just had to turn that one into a magnet. And then I actually had a photo of them all sitting at my back door. And it was the perfect size for all three of them to fit inside, so I've turned that one into a magnet as well. And obviously Pumpkin has her tennis ball in her gob. And the only reason why I can say that is because she's in the kitchen. If I kept saying that word, she'd want to play again. But yeah, so we've got tons of magnets, and literally all you do, and I'll show you the difference between doing it wrong and doing it right, although actually doing it wrong makes the magnet stick out more. But you can see here, you can really tell that I put that one on backwards and then this one is on the right way. It kind of possibly is better to have put it on backwards because then the magnet does stick out more, but the magnet is just deep enough. If you're using one of these fridge magnets, it's just deep enough to, you know, go up the width of this indent here, so it does still stick to a flat surface. But maybe if you had neodymium magnets that are much thinner, maybe you would deliberately want to put the back on backwards so that a neodymium magnet would be higher up and stick onto the surface still. So that could be something to think about if you are going to turn them into magnets. Also, you can rescue all of the pins out of them before you turn them into a magnet as well. And then you've just got spare pins if something happens to one of your other badges, or you could use them to create something else as well. So you can just keep all of those extra pins somewhere. So that is all of the kind of like initial experimenting that I was doing. And then to go along with this Halloween kind of theme, Tuesday's sped up video, which features creative expressions, I decided to make a bunch of cute, adorable badges using some of the Jane's Doodles stamps from their Halloween collection for 2024. I forgot what year we were in then, but she has some absolutely gorgeous images. She's got all of these spooky ice creams, lollies and cupcakes, and I just thought they're absolutely perfect to create, to put in people's Halloween goodies that you're giving them if they knock on the door and they're, you know, saying trick or treat. You can give them a gorgeous little badge. And I decorated them extrally with googly eyes, because I thought everybody loves googly eyes. So they've all got little googly eye accents that I've stuck on top of the plastic. A couple of them don't have the plastic on top of them, mainly because I was just struggling this day. Isn't it typical that I spent ages colouring all of these images, and I thought, oh good, you know, it'll be a nice sped up portion, making 7 badges, it'll be really good in the video. And then I started using the plastic ones and kept getting them stuck in the machine. I did get these two to work in the end, but I kept getting them stuck in the top bit of the machine. So then I went back onto the metal backed badges, and then I was having trouble with them. So I think it was just a bad day when I was filming this video. But yeah, a couple of them haven't got the protective coating over the top, which is, you know, a little bit annoying, but they are coloured with alcohol pens, so even if they did get a bit wet, I don't think it would ruin the images on them. But it did also make me think, what about actually just pressing the image not coloured in without the plastic on top, and then it can be colour your own badge. So, you know, you could have this without the plastic on top, then they can colour in their own badge, and then they've got their badge that they've kind of created and coloured in. And I thought it could be a cool idea if you have any birthdays coming up in October. You could stamp out a bunch of images into circles like this, get them to colour them in, then die cut them and turn them into a badge. Or you can do the idea of pressing them all into badges as black and white images, and then they can colour them when they're on the badge, you know, depending how you would want to do it. But it could be a cool idea for an activity, maybe even in the October half term. I think that's usually a bit before Halloween. You could, you know, do a kind of activity like that to keep children busy. So I thought it was a nice little idea. And you'll see me colour all of these images in and probably only press a couple of them because I was having so many difficulties. But in Tuesday's sped up video, you'll see those. Then there are all of the finished badges that I've got, and you can see I really enjoyed making badges and magnets out of all of these. I've created quite a few, but I still have tons of the badge supplies left. So even if you do go to town and make a bunch of them, you do still have plenty to play with. But I thought in this video I could show you a couple of other badges to make. So I've got this gorgeous plaid paper, which is from the, I've put everything on top of the paper pad here, but it's from the Distress Plaid paper pad from TaylorMade Journals. I already said that, didn't I, earlier when I was showing a different badge? Anyway, it's that paper pad again, but I'm using the orange colour of it. And I've got a couple of extra pumpkin faces left over from yesterday's video. So I've got this gorgeous little one and this one as well, cut with the matte black vinyl. And I thought if we die cut the patterned paper, turn it into a badge, then we could transfer, oh actually, die cut the pattern paper, put the vinyl onto the paper, then turn it into a badge, and then we can have the protective layer over the top of the faces as well. So we can do that and make a couple of badges like that. I also thought, well, I might as well show you how you could make a colour your own badge as well. So we can die cut one of these out. There's more images here. I probably won't do all of these, I'll probably just do one, but more of Jane's doodles, gorgeous images from her Halloween collections. There's a gorgeous little cat inside a pumpkin. There's a little a little boy dressed as a Frankenstein's monster. You've got a witch-themed little teddy bear. You've got a little girl with a witch hat on and a bunch of candy as well. And then you've got the moose wrapped in the mummy bandages as well. And you could also use some of Francoise's images too. They're a little bit on the larger side, but you could crop out portions of them to turn into badges as well. But I thought we could work on one of these too, so we can create a few different badges in this video. Then I've also got another couple of things prepared here. So where's that Halloween one gone? Here. I also thought if you wanted to gift these on a card like I showed you in yesterday's video for the ornaments, I've got another piece of that gorgeous plaid paper, and I was thinking you could pin the badge onto the card as well. You know, like, well, when I was younger specifically, you used to get like a number 1, number 2, number 3, and they had the little plastic long rectangle bit, and you would clip it onto the card, or they'd come clipped onto a card if you bought one in the shops. You could create, you know, something like that with these badges, so we can play around with how we might want to attach one to a card. And then I thought, well, why can't we make a badge that's in a theme and put it on the card? So I thought we could try and make a badge that looks like a moon, and then we could put it onto a card that has clouds and bats and things in the background. So these are some Tim Holtz dies that my lovely friend Lourdes sent me last year. So I've got a moon here, which I'm thinking of sticking the moon onto a piece of the gold vellum from Tonic, and then turning that into a badge. Possibly sticking the witch on it first, actually, so the witch is flying in front of the moon, and then attach that to a card that's got clouds and bats on it, so it kind of makes a scene on the card, but then you can also have the badge. And then I'm thinking of the sentiment, we could put beware the full moon or something on the actual moon badge, and then you can take it off and it's got like a funny kind of sentiment on there too. Yeah, so I thought these would be some quite nice badges to sort of make with you. And I did actually also emboss a piece of card with the Tim Holtz tapestry embossing folder. I thought we could cut this into a circle, and I could show you how well an embossed piece of cardstock would work as a badge. Obviously I've not tried this yet, so I'm hoping it's going to work. I think it will. So yeah, we could die cut a few of these bits and pieces and then, you know, turn it into some badges. So I'm going to speed up the die cutting part of this. I'm going to stick this onto here, die cut it into a circle, die cut, die cut, die cut, and die cut. And then obviously when we're pressing the badges, I'll come back to real time to do that. So we've now got our two little vinyl faces onto our pattern papers. This could definitely have been die cut as well. I just had those leftover vinyl ones from yesterday's acrylic ornaments video. We've got Beware the Full Moon with the little witch that we're going to turn into an actual removable moon for the card. We've got Happy Halloween onto this embossed tapestry piece. And then we've just got the little mummy moose as well. So, I'm going to, I did this in the sped up video as well, so if you see a manky flannel underneath the machine, I just thought it's a little bit better to work on something a little bit more cushioned than just straight onto the glass mat. So I've just put an old flannel that I was using to clean my jelly plate off before underneath the button maker. I think that's as far out as I can zoom you. So, I was thinking, shall we try a plastic button back again, see if we can get it to work. Maybe being, well, I say maybe being on camera would be good luck, but I was filming it when they didn't work as well. But let's have a go and see if I can actually get the plastic button back to work again. So it's a little bit difficult to show you what I'm doing because of the way the camera films. I need to kind of be right in the centre of the screen, or a little bit over to that side, I think. So you have this side of the button maker, which basically has like this circular channel, and this is where this lip of this button sits, and I think it's the top of this pushes down on it, and that's what folds the paper and the plastic around this button piece. I think that's how it works. So you want to put your metal button piece in first, face down so that lip goes into that little channel. Then you want to put your patterned piece on there, and I know I'm off to the side here, but I'm thinking of this as I'm looking straight up from here, and I want this to be straight in this orientation. I haven't 100% mastered getting the pin badge exactly straight, but I'm pretty good at getting it relatively straight now so that it will hang up the right way if you have it on your coat or your bag or something. So we've got our paper, which could be your white paper that you've done something onto, you've drawn onto it, or you've stamped onto it, or it can be you know, some more elaborate kind of thing that you have created, but you want to put that on first, and then you want to take your little acetate pieces. This is a very thin acetate, so make sure you only have one because they stick together. So put that on there. Then you want to spin this round, and this you're now going to press, and it's going to go up into here and stay in there. So we're going to turn this around, press this down, and then this is going to get pressed up into here, and this is the point where I find it's quite good to sort of press it together, let go a little bit, press it together, let go a little bit, press it together again to really make sure it's getting well pressed into there, and then hopefully it should have disappeared. So there we go, it's now in here, and because we had this up the right way before, and we were looking this way and it was up the right way, when we now put it in here, it's upside down. So we got to think about how we're placing our badge back into this piece to know that the image is now upside down in here, which means when this turns around here, you're going to want the badge to be over here so that it's at the top. So you now want to put your badge into here, and we're going to try with the plastic one again, and it needs to go in upside down. So this is where I went wrong with that pickle magnet, but it's got to be in upside down. So on the front of the plastic or the metal, the front is going to be where you can access this pin badge bit, and the back is going to be the wiggly bit. So you want to be able to see the wiggly bit of the pin. And then when you twist this round, I can actually see that it knocks it a little bit. So I then actually just twist this a tiny bit to the left, so a tiny bit anti-clockwise, so that it should hopefully be lined up when we press the button. Then we're now going to press this, and it should go all the way down now. These little pins should register in the plastic, and it should go all the way down. And again, this requires a relative amount of force. So if you have bad dexterity problems in your hands, this might not be you know, something that you can actually do easily, but it is a fun project to do. And if you have someone who's got strong hands, or if you you know, if you just want to make a couple at a time so you're not using your hands too much and, you know, putting too much pressure on them, but it is easy to do. I would just say it requires a bit of strength in your hands to be able to press it. And so I'm just doing that pouncing thing again to try and sort of press and then release a little bit and press again. Let's fingers crossed. It should still be, the button should still be in this bottom piece. Ah, it hasn't worked again. It should be finished in that bottom piece. The trouble is with the plastic backs, they tend to get stuck. But I found to get it out of there, you twist it so just the tiniest bit of plastic is still underneath that thing, the main sort of mechanism, and then you press it down, and it was popping out yesterday. There we go, it popped out. See, again, I had the issue where it's not quite pressing all of the plastic around it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with these plastic backs, but anyway, it's sort of gone alright. This is the case where I would then just go, oh, I've pulled it completely apart now. But this would be the case where I'd then just go, okay, this one's not going to have a plastic piece on it. And I would just go with the paper piece. But actually you can see here how it pushes that paper around the edge of it. And we did that well. So I'm not sure why the plastic didn't fold around as nicely if we managed to get that to go well. But let's actually see if we, sometimes you can repress them, you know, put this back in, put the plastic back on, a new piece of plastic on top, and then try and press it again. Just give it one more try with the plastic back and see if we can get it to work. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe you don't need either gasket in there, because it comes with 2 gaskets, and I was just using one. Maybe you don't need either gasket. Let's try it without either of them in there. See how that works. So we're putting it that way up, and then we're twisting it a tiny bit anti-clockwise, because that's how the machine twists it. It twists the top piece upside down, and then let's press it. See if that makes a difference. Oh, I did feel like that went down further actually. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Let's see. Is it in there? It's in there! Well, there we go. Well, that's a good thing to show you on camera, isn't it? You don't need either gasket in there to get the plastic ones to work. There we go. Problem solved. That's all I was doing wrong. I just had the gaskets in there where you don't need them. I guess that's why, you know, because this is such a thick back compared to the metal ones. So with the metal ones, because they're thinner, you need this thickness of the gaskets for it to be in a good position. There we go. So if you're struggling with the plastic backs that you can buy in the extra 100 pack set, you just don't need the gaskets in there, which would probably make sense because the 100 set didn't come with a gasket, whereas the ones that came with the machine came with a spare one in with these portions of it. So maybe we have solved the issue. Let's try and do all of these with the plastic back then and see if that is the issue and see if we've actually solved it now. So let's do the other pumpkin one first. So remember, we're lining up, oh sorry, I've moved you off to the side a bit. We're lining up, imagining this is looking straight up here. I'm having to do it off to the side. If you do it underneath here, it's easier because you're looking straight up where it is. But doing it off to the side a little bit, I'm kind of imagining that I'm looking at it straight up like that. Then we want a piece of the acetate. I don't mind that I might waste some sometimes trying to get it to work, because I know that if I'm going to do some more magnets with photos on, I'm not going to use them on them. So I don't mind if I do mess up and have to use a second one of these plastic pieces. But now, hopefully, this will work, and it will just be the fact that we didn't need the gaskets in there for the plastic backs. Okay, so press this down. It is a little bit of a clunk to begin with, and that's a little bit worse of a clunk when you try and use thicker cardstock in here as well, but it is still possible to do. Okay, so we're going to sort of pounce this up and down to make sure that is nicely pressed and up inside the machine there. Then I need some more plastic backs now. Okay, I've got a few more here. So we now want to place this that way round, so we're seeing the wiggle in the badge, and I'm pushing that right down into there, and then I want to twist it a tiny bit anti-clockwise because of how this sort of twists it. Actually, did we check? How well did we do with the badge, if that's the right way up? Oh. It's going to hang a bit wonky, I think, that one. We must not have twisted it enough. Anyway, it's a practice one. Let's twist that one a little bit more maybe. It is also different because I keep looking up rather than looking at what I'm doing, which I think also changes your perspective on things as well. But that feels way better for pressing that badge actually, so I think we have fixed it and realised what the issue is now. Yes, there we go, perfect. And there's something underneath there. There's a speck of something underneath there that's got trapped, so he's got a dot on his eye now, never mind. How well did we do this time? Doodly-doo. Oh yay, it's straight. Okay, so you have to turn it a little bit more with the plastic ones, but it's straight on there, so it'll hang nicely if you're wearing it. So, now we've mastered the plastic back then, let's try our experimenty kind of one of doing the embossed cardstock. So this was literally the tapestry embossing folder. I embossed it with the folder and then I ran hickory smoke ink pad over the top. So this was slate grey cardstock from Creative Expressions, and then I rubbed the hickory smoke ink pad over the top of the embossed impression, and this is actually a multi-level embossing folder, not a 3D one, so it just picks up the top of all of the levels of embossed detail, but it's still, I think it's still going to highlight the pattern enough. And then I've just put the Happy Halloween Dymo labels in the centre. So let me do it like this and try and get it nice and straight, and then twist it so you can see it, and then we want a clear film over the top. Hopefully this is helpful to you if you get this button machine and you really want to know, you know, like exactly how it works, because I will have done the experimenting. I know this, I'm not actually casting this as an experiment video, but we are kind of experimenting. But hopefully if I've done these things first, then you're going to waste less of your button pieces, you know, playing around with stuff. So hopefully this will be helpful to you if you are thinking of getting one of these. I just think they're so much fun. I can't wait to make some CRaFTi potential badges and stuff as well. And obviously more magnets with pumpkin, pickle and willow on them as well. So we've got that pressed up into there. Let's put the back on here and press it down and then twist it anti-clockwise. It kind of presses in there quite well actually, quite snugly. Oh, I probably should have twisted it before I put it in there. Let's prise it out. There we go. And if I twist it that way, is that right? Yeah. Okay, and then press that in, and then press this down. It does feel so much better now actually, without having the two gaskets in there. Or even just the one gasket as well. Oh, it hasn't worked this time. Oh, I spoke too soon. Okay, what have I done wrong? Let's try and press this bit more. It sounds as though the plastic's not... Oh, the button's popped out now. Yeah, it sounds as though the plastic was having issues on this one. So let's make it without the plastic on this one then. I think that'll look quite nice actually. Okay, so this should take the top of the button up into the machine, and then we need to pull this out. Twist it like that, and then press it. Ta-da! Okay, so it does work with embossing folders. I do actually think it looks nice not having the plastic on this one as well actually. We'll see, you have to see how long the sticky of the Dymo label lasts too. But that is our gorgeous embossing folder one. So you can use your embossing folders to create pin badges too. Then, let's have a go at this one, see if it works. So, top piece in here. Sorry, I keep moving it off to the side. Then, beware the full moon. I do want a protective piece on this though. Let's see if we can get it to work. I think I'm just going to have to press it extra hard. Okay, put that on there. Then twist it round. Oh, we want to make sure this is definitely going to have a straight pin badge though, if it's going to be on the card. So we want it to hang straight. Okay. Spin that round, press this down. Oh. Oh, okay. Bit of a clunk. Okay, hopefully that is pressed enough. Okay, let's go with a metal back for this one. Twist. Oh, we're going to need the gasket in here because it is a shallower button. I can't get it out again. There we go. Okay, we'll put the gasket in and then twist that about there. Fingers crossed. Nope. I think it is because I've used a relatively thick card to cut the moon, so it's made thicker edges here. Let's try without the plastic, see if we can get it to work. So press that into there, push that round, pick it back up into the machine. I mean, I was kind of hoping this one would work really well so we can make that card. But I suppose it is good that I'm kind of showing you how to sort of troubleshoot things, although this is a very experimental kind of badge anyway. It's not really what it's supposed to be making, but hopefully maybe without the plastic it'll work because we're not having like an extra layer going around it. Nope. Maybe we need the second gasket because I had been pressing the metal ones with two. There we go. It was just about worked. So we have actually got our moon badge to be able to put onto a card to actually, so maybe if you are going to do some kind of moon badge, maybe a stamped image of a moon would be better rather than using a thicker die cut, or maybe a smaller die cut moon would work better. But we have managed to get a badge, even if it's not perfect. Definitely not perfect. I think it's also tricking it as well because the moon isn't the full size of the circle, so not all of it is wrapping round. But anyway, I think that is going to be good enough for what we want for our project, just to kind of show you the idea that you can attach one to a card and it would be something that you could take off and wear as well. So I think I'm happy with that, even though it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted to. Then the final one I wanted to show you was pressing a stamped image on 300 GSM white cardstock and showing you how you could create a colour your own pin badge kind of design. So if we put that in like so, and then turn it around, press it down. This is going to be a bigger clunk because it is 300 GSM cardstock and it's got to wrap around that metal base. Okay, and then we'll go with the plastic back. So no gaskets for the plastic back, now we know. And press that in, and then press this down. And it didn't work. Okay, press it again. And it didn't work again. Oh, it's got stuck. Oh, it knocked it off. Okay, so there's something about the 300 GSM that really does not like these plastic backs as well, because it was the 300 GSM card that I was struggling with the plastic backs before. So we'll go double gasket and metal back. See if that works, because it's still in there, the design. There we go. So if you're doing 300 GSM, the metal backs seem to work better. But you see, you now have a matte badge because you haven't put the protective cover on there. But it's just a lovely image that you can colour in. And then you've got your own badge that you've made yourself, and it's a beautiful colouring kind of project as well. But I mean, you don't have to use 300 GSM cardstock. I mean, like a 200, 250 nice white cardstock would work equally as well. I just love my 300 GSM cardstock, but if you can go for a lower weight, then go for a lower weight, because it's going to be much easier on your hands for making the badges, and also much easier just to make the badges as well. And you're going to be able to use the plastic backs too if you get the expansion pack of 100 extra badges too. So that's all of those. I'm going to move all of this out of the way, and then we're going to try and make a card that we can put our moon badge onto. Okay, so I've just sort of created a card as like a night sky sort of background with one of those distressed plaid pieces and some bats and clouds. I deliberately put the glue on in a swirly fashion because I thought even if you can end up seeing it, it kind of looks like a spooky cloud then. It should dry clear, but just in case you can end up seeing it, it's got like a spooky swirly pattern to it. So if we want to add our badge onto our card, I'm going to go with this one first. So this is like a test run of our card. This is just that little happy haunting one that I created before as sort of testing bits and pieces. But we're going to go with this one first to see if we can successfully create a way of pinning the badge to the card. I'm hoping that we can and it's not too difficult, but I feel like we're going to need 2 holes in the card. Similar to how we were attaching the ornament onto the card, but we might, I don't know if we're going to need 2 holes and a slit or whether just 2 holes is going to work. So this is definitely going to be the experimental card. So let's get our little self-healing mat and our screw hole punch back again. Open our card blank up, and then the pin badge is more towards the top, like the pin is more towards the top of the badge. So I'm thinking something like there and there. Hopefully that works. So if we just put it through one hole, bring it back through the other hole, and then clip it onto the pin. Sorry, you can't really see what I'm doing. I'm trying to look down there to clip it onto the pin. There we go. So it does work. It's a little bit lopsided, but it does work to attach it onto a card. And you've got that in the back there. How could we improve that? Or is that good enough to be on a card? It's securely on there. I don't think it's going anywhere. So I think our first attempt was a success for adding it on. So you basically just want to do 2 little holes, about, what's that, about a centimetre and a half apart, and then you can thread it through and clip the badge back onto itself and get it to attach to your card. So you've now got your top folding card that wants to splay its legs out. I'll put that behind it. You've got your top folding card with your badge on there. So let's see if we can attach our full moon onto our card as well. So badge is in the same kind of position. I think we want to go about here and then about here. Okay, let's see if that works. So we want to go through and then thread it back through the other hole and then pin it back. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more to this side than the other, but it works. So you can actually add your badges onto a card as well, and then it can be a cool little badge for someone to wear as well. So beware the full moon, that can be a cute little Halloween card. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this video looking at the HTVRONT button making machine. or as we would call them, pin badges in the UK. But we've got all of these gorgeous designs that I showed you, you know, that you can create with this, going on a cool Halloween kind of theme if you want to do colour your own ones, cute little pumpkin ones, adding googly eyes onto them to make them look really cute, or turning them into cute little magnets of adorable little doggies, even if I do say so myself. Very cute, those little creatures, especially this one. But they're so cute, they work so perfectly as magnets. So yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. We finally got to the end of the mystery about the plastic backs. Don't use any gaskets and don't use 300 GSM cardstock with them, and they should work. So if you want to get hold of extra packs of 100, then you can get hold of them as well. And I don't think I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to get hold of the button making machine or any spare pieces for buttons or any extra vinyl, anything that they sell, then you can go to HTVRONT's website and you can actually use the code Christine Smith, so CHRiStineSmith. I'll put it down here, and it'll be in the description box as well, and you can get an extra 10% off your order. And they're having a really cool Halloween kind of sale at the moment with tons of slashed prices, some even that you're paying for the accessories and you're getting a whole machine free, like the locklit cutting machine and things. But even though the things are on offer, you can still get 10% off with my code, so you're still going to save extra money with 10% off, and I really appreciate it if you use my affiliate links in the description box below the video as well, because then I get a little something with no extra cost to you, and you also get your 10% off as well. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video and yesterday's one, playing with the acrylic ornaments and some vinyl cut with my locklit cutting machine, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!